Operation ChemCon, or Chemical Control. Federal agents began intercepting large shipments of ether into South America in hopes of curbing cocaine production.
We're as much a part of the problem as Colombia, Peru, and Bolivia, because we provide many of the chemicals that go into the processing of this poison. American companies profit from it.
The Colombian government had already cut off imports of ether. In response, the Medellin cartel, Colombia's most notorious drug ring, began moving large quantities of coca paste to its bases in the Caribbean. Throughout the West Indies and the Bahamas, base rock began to appear, a pebble-like concoction of coca paste, baking soda, water, and rum.
In the city of Detroit, it was not hard to get a hold of a kilo of cocaine if you knew the right people to talk to, and it seemed that many people did.
In the summer of 1984, crack came on the corner of St. Clair and Kirchhoff. The uncle of Billy Joe's girlfriend claimed he could turn $2,500 of coke into 10 grand in 48 hours. Billy Joe loaned him the money. By the fall, the name BJ meant crack in the Motor City. Then, his big brother Larry moved to town.
You say their names, say Chambers are looking for you, they gone, they running, they be scared. You know, they will kill you in a minute with no hesitation.
Within a few months, I had a little over 30 crack houses, 150 workers, grossing over $200,000 per week. I can't turn back. I'm addicted to the money.
American Gangster continues.
One morning I got up and looked at the skyline. It's not New York, it's not LA, but it's definitely a city that can't be ignored. I knew that this story was different, and it had to have a name for it that was different. And that was it, New Jack City.
In 1986, writer Barry Michael Cooper spent time observing the drug trade in Detroit with criminologist Dr. Carl Taylor.
Some of their marketing, in my opinion, is as good as Madison Avenue.
We showed him around and gave him the history of what was taking place here. Detroit boys were known more as players, like pimps and so forth. We had all these great street guys who weren't selling drugs, who were just out here being real pimps, the original pimps. What changed, where it got ugly, is when dope came.
At the time, Larry Chambers and his little brother Billy Joe were the biggest crack pimps in the Motor City. Cooper described his experience in an article for the Village Voice entitled, "Kids Killing Kids. New Jack City Eats Its Young."
Barry Michael Cooper came in here and was able to legitimize what I had been screaming as a researcher, that it's here.
In the film, where they control and do all that. The Chambers brothers had their own Carter.
The Broadmoor was Larry's idea.
Because of my huge crack clientele, I had to buy huge apartment buildings just to absorb or minimize the traffic flow. On many occasions, there were long lines of people standing on the streets waiting for their turn to purchase crack.
The apartment building that became his one-stop shop is now just a field off Grand Boulevard.
There were still people living there. They were just, today we're selling for on a mother and her.
There's next door and give 2 for 1.
They go into the schools and hand them out to the kids, and hand them out to the kids in the neighborhood. They're just handwritten greeting cards. Here, good $10 boulder crack, sold out back door.
Eventually, the brothers even began competing against each other. In May of 1986, Otis Chambers graduated from Mariana High School in Detroit. He wasn't alone.
People were being recruited from Arkansas to come up and work in Detroit.
Young men that I was coaching were only a few years younger than him, and so you immediately try to use something like that as a form of education to talk to your guys and educate them to, what could happen.
What happened to Len Bias happened again 8 days later.
To be married today. Instead, they're here now to console a grieving family.
Another young, fit athlete, Don Rogers, defensive back for the Cleveland Browns, was found dead with cocaine in his system.
It's like the Lenny Bias thing, no one knows how long he's been doing it or how many times he did it.
By August, the Detroit Police Department and the DEA had formed the No Crack Task Force. They even arrested Billy Joe twice, without ever realizing who he was.
We were charging these guys under state charges. They were not major charges from the perspective of Wayne County. So they were going out.
All of the equipment, the personnel, the plans, anything they have that could be used in this war against drugs.
In the fall of 1986, lawmakers on Capitol Hill began